across these plains and prairies, Rocky Mountain highs, fade off into the distance like ghost riders in the sky. Black smoke and white line, steel horses side by side. It's more than just a living, y'all.
Welcome back. Hope everybody had a good weekend. My weekend was pretty good. Nothing eventful. Had a nice, smooth, easy keel weekend. So it's Monday. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. So Friday, on the last video you saw, I was on my way to Lancaster, Ohio, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make delivery or not. I ended up getting delivered that night. It was kind of like tricky. I called in the morning, told them when I thought I'd be there, and they had some stuff going on in the evening that they didn't really want to stay, and they said, man, it'd be better tomorrow morning. So I ended up getting there a little bit earlier than I thought I was, or what I had told them. So the truck stop was right across the street. So rather than just go over to the truck stop and hang out for the night, I figured, well, I'll stop in there and see what they say. So I stopped in there, and all I did, I just walked in and said, hey, listen, I know I talked to you earlier. I know that you said tomorrow morning would be better. I just wanted to stop in and see if anything changed. And as luck would have it, they were like, hey, man, that's the easy one to unload, so let's do it. So go ahead and pull around back, and we'll get it done. So I got lucky. So there's a lesson. It pays to just stop in and see. Even if you don't think they're going to unload you, just swing in there. Just say hi. And it worked. It worked for me, and I found that it works quite a bit if you show up and just, if you're cool about it, like I wasn't telling them I wanted to unload. In fact, I told them, it really didn't matter to me that I could unload in the morning, even though it kind of did. But I told them that, it really didn't matter. I could unload in the morning, and that'd be fine too, which it would have been if they needed to go. But they were cool about it and got me unloaded, so I was able to make it home Friday night. And I loaded this morning. Sort of last week's saga continued a little bit. That guy that was fixing my brakes, he had found that the shock mount that they fixed last Monday had broke it. They had to weld it, and it broke the weld. So I swung back into the shop this morning and had them refix that. So I'm curious to see whether it holds, and I'll know in the morning when I do my pre-trip. I don't even want to look tonight. It's just going to make me depressed. So I'm going to look in the morning when I do my pre-trip and see if that thing held. Hopefully it did. So anyways, I got that fixed. I got out of the shop about 9 o'clock this morning, and I was literally loading right around the corner. It wasn't even, I don't even think it was 3/4 of a mile away. I picked up a 980 cat wheel loader, pretty old unit. These people up here in Valley View, Ohio, sold it to a guy down in Oklahoma. Sold a couple of them, actually. So I ran over there, got there about 9:15 or so, 9 o'clock, 9:15, got this thing loaded up. I got out of there, it was probably 10:30-ish. Little funny story. I stopped at the Blue Beacon to get the truck washed because it was just bad, like all that salt and everything last week. It was real bad. So I stopped to get the truck washed. And we all know the Blue Beacons, like everybody's been to a Blue Beacon. So we all know that when you get in line in Blue Beacon, you come in their driveway. Once you're in their driveway, you're committed. Like you're getting your truck washed, or you're going through their building, one of them two. There's no other way out of their parking lot. And I kind of don't like that. Because if you get in there and those guys are taking forever on what you think, is going to be short, then there's no way for you to get out. Like, you're stuck in line. I got to believe they do that on purpose to hold you in line, capture you in a way. But anyways, I got in line. I come around the building, and this load here is right around 14 foot, 2 inches tall. And the door said 14 foot clearance. So I had to spend a little bit of time. Luckily enough, they were washing the truck in front of me. And I had to spend a little bit of time measuring their door and checking things out and making sure I was going to make it. I ended up dropping my air on the trailer, and that worked. I got through there. It was they were stressing for no reason, but it is what it is. So there again, I told him, I said, listen, if that had been marked at the entrance, I would not have pulled in the driveway. So maybe change your signage and not put it on the door. Like once you're in line, you're committed. So anyways, that was my little funny story about today. That it ended up working out. I got in and got washed. And then, I don't know, 100, 200 miles later, I got into a ton of rain. So I should have just waited. But it is what it is. I am in Effingham, Illinois. I'm on my way to Stigler, Oklahoma. I'm in Effingham, Illinois right now. I got this thing on. Didn't film while I was there. I don't know if they would have let me film or not, but they were kind of being funny, so I just didn't bother trying. So I'm gonna take it out now and show you the load, show you what I did with it, and then I'm gonna jump inside and get a shower and grab something to eat, and I'll probably do it. There was something I wanted to talk about with this load, so I'll probably shoot a little video after I get my food and a shower and put it in this video. So here you go. We'll go out, take a peek at this thing. Oh, I tried to park right underneath the light so y'all could see it. I think I accomplished my goal here. So there's our unit right there. I don't know what year that thing is, but it's got to be early 80s, I would think. Wheel loader, 980C. Oh, might be able to see this side better over here. Yeah, there we go. 980C cat wheel loader. Pretty big unit. I think they told me the weight on it's about 60,000 pounds, and I scaled it. I'm going to show you the picture of the scale ticket too, because that kind of has something to do with what I'm talking about. Man, there's a lot of dirt still in there. That was all snow earlier, and I couldn't see any of that stuff, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. It's getting all over my trailer. Anyways, the bucket on it, it's the widest portion. It's 11 foot 1 inches wide. Got it flagged, obviously. 11 foot 1 inches wide. They told me it was 12.6 tall, and I believe that. Like, I think it probably is 12.6 tall because I measured it out at 14.2. So we're definitely staying on the high route. 14.2 isn't bad, but you can get yourself in trouble real quick with high loads. So here's what I did for securement. I got one chain back here going all the way across. Then I X-chained off the tie-down points. There's a tie-down point right there. I X-chained underneath. Then the hydraulic bracket that the one I always talk about when I'm hauling these things about so it can't articulate, it's completely missing on this one, so there wasn't an option for me to put it on. So I just put a chain, this chain here, run it right across the center, right over to the other side of the trailer. And the back, I did the same thing as the other side. I should try to get my light out. Maybe you can see that a little better. But came off the lifting lugs. You can see that at all. I came off the tie-down points on the frame, tied down to that. So I've got 6 chains on it, holding it down. It's roughly 59,000, 60,000 pounds. So the reason I positioned it this way, and this was tricky. I got into the office this morning while they were working on my trailer, and I talked to my permit girl. She said she had to play with the weights a little bit in Oklahoma because Oklahoma would only give us 40,000 pounds on a tandem axle trailer, or a tandem axle. So my drive tires are tandems, my trailer's triaxles. So according to her, Oklahoma and Arkansas would only give us 40,000 or 20,000 pounds per axle. So we could only have 40,000 pounds, 40,000 pounds on the drive axles. So that made loading a little bit tricky. So what I did there, you can see it, I tucked that thing all the way to the back. Like I got them front tires, they are I'll take you to the other side, you can see it. They are tight against the back step. I did that because with the weight on this thing, there you go, you can see that. That tire is touching that step. The reason I did that is because they'll give us 20,000 pounds per axle. So the tri-axle back there can have 60,000 pounds on it, 20, 20, 20. So I knew that the weight of this machine at roughly 60,000 pounds, if I'm forward much at all from the back, I need to shove that weight all the way to the back and get as much of that 60,000 as I can on the tri-axle, because the unit weighs as much as we can have on the axles on my tri-axle. So I knew that any transfer of weight to my drive would keep my tri-axle back there underneath the 20-20-20 that they allow us, underneath 60,000. And it worked out, and I'll show you the scale ticket right now. I did stop and scale it. I do also, maybe when I'm done with my shower and stuff and I'm talking a little bit about some particulars about this thing, I'll show you my gauge inside, and then you can see the scale ticket and then my gauge, and that'll give you an idea of what I was talking about when I said your scale ticket will tell you what your gauge, you know, how much weight you have on your gauge. You got to do that a few times. When you're first learning your gauges, you got to do that a few times to know what weight the gauge means. And I'll explain that here in a minute. But that's our unit. We're in Effingham, Illinois tonight. Looks like I'm about 8.5 hours from delivery. So the guy that bought it told me he's there all the time. So as soon as I get there, whenever I get there tomorrow, he'll unload me. So that'll be great. Be able to get unloaded tomorrow. Should leave me a couple hours to run toward a pickup. Hopefully I'll get something booked. I don't have anything yet. We'll see. Not looking real great down there, but maybe I can run a short hop. Gets me like toward Ohio, maybe back east. Anything back east. If it's a single day run, pick it up Wednesday morning, deliver it Thursday morning, then I can load something back toward Ohio and have plenty of time to make it. So I'm gonna run inside and get my shower, grab something to eat, and I will talk to you guys when I'm done. So anyways, what I wanted to talk about with, I mentioned that I had something I wanted to talk about with this load that's important. And what I wanted to talk about was, I picked this load up and they had sold 2 of them. So the guy that was loading it was not the guy that sold it. He was one of the guys that worked there, and he thought one of them was going to Oklahoma, or both of them were going to West Virginia. So I called the customer down in Oklahoma and asked him if he had a serial number, just so I could be sure I was picking up the right one in case they were going to 2 different places. And while I was on the phone with him, he said, "No, I purchased both of them, so it doesn't matter." And I said, "Okay, well, they got one running sitting right here. I'm just going to put that one on." He said, "Whatever, it doesn't matter, either one." And then he said, "You know, there's a spare tire that goes with that thing. Make sure you get that spare tire." I said, "Okay." Well, the issue with that is, and this is what I wanted to talk about. When you are pulling, this load is wide, it's high, and it's also heavy. So when you're pulling a heavy load, and this applies to high loads, wide loads, and long loads, it applies across all genres of overdimensional. So you cannot haul a load that has multiple pieces that makes it whatever you're trying to permit for. In this case, they call this a non-divisible load or a divisible load. If I was to put that spare tire on with this load, because I'm already permitted for weight, if I was to put that spare tire on with this load, I'm not allowed to do that. That's considered a divisible load. You can haul that tire on a different truck, and you may or may not be overweight. So the bottom line here is you have to have one piece. If you're overweight, it's got to be one piece. There are some little sneaky things that you can do, but for the most part, It has to be one piece. Now, on a wide load, you can't have two pieces sitting next to each other on the trailer, which makes it wide. You can't do that. Long loads, same thing. You can't have two pieces sitting front to back that make it long. And high loads, the same thing. You can't have something stacked. If you have two pieces, you have to make it legal, if you can. I don't know how many of you, I'm sure based on the comments on the channel, there's a lot of you guys that are already pulling stuff like this, so you guys already know. But for those of you that don't, or haven't been pulling, or just getting into this, or thinking about getting into it, you cannot pull a divisible load. You just can't. You can't permit it that way. The state won't issue it, and if you try it, the first scale you get to, you're probably going to get, they're probably going to get you on it. As soon as you hit that scale and they realize you're overweight and you have more than one piece on, they're probably going to write you a violation and then make you send a truck out to get that other piece and take it off. So that was something I wanted to talk about that I hadn't covered yet. That's pretty important. And this guy, the customer down here, he was kind of arguing with me a little bit. He was like, you know, this, but it goes with it. And I'm like, it doesn't matter that it goes with it. Like, if it's not on it, bolted to it, if you can bolt that spare tire to this thing, if there's a spare tire holder or something that it can be bolted to, then it absolutely, I can do it. But if it is not bolted, welded, or permanently fixed to the machine, there's nothing I can do. That's the law. The law is the law. And it's unfortunate in this case, because it would have been very simple for me just to toss that thing on the back deck, throw a couple straps over it. But and I really wanted to do that for him, but I just can't. There's a long way between Ohio and Oklahoma with a lot of scales, and it's just not a risk that we should take or I'm willing to take. The other machine, I guess, had some body parts that were part of the machine. The body parts had come off, or they were, I don't know, they're taken off or whatever. I think that you could get away with. You could put those parts in the bucket or whatever, and you could get away with that because they were originally part of the machine, and they're supposed to be bolted on the machine. You could easily say that, and this happens quite a bit when you're traveling down the road and one of those body panels or something starts to move up or blow up a little bit, or it starts to fall off, and you take it off. So those things happen. That the body panels, I think you could get away with and not have any problem with the scales, but that spare tire, there's just no way to do it, and it's unfortunate. I really wish I could have helped the guy out and could have thrown it on here, but it's just not a risk I should take. It's just not worth it. I mean, the bottom line is it's my license, and it's my violation, and it's probably, if there's a fine involved, it's my money. So it's unfortunate, but couldn't do it. So the point in this was divisible loads. It has to be a non-divisible load. When you're permitting for weight, width, length, or height, it has to be a non-divisible load. Now, you could have two 10-foot wide pieces sitting one in front of the other one, and that's perfectly legal. You could have two 14-foot tall pieces, one in front of the other one, and that's legal. But they cannot make, those two pieces together cannot make it be what it's getting permitted for. So it's kind of, if I explain that correctly, it'll make sense in your brain. If not, throw me a comment and I'll try to do a little better job of explaining it. But I hope you understand what I mean by divisible load. And this throwing that spare tire on this would have made it a divisible load, and I probably would have at least got questioned at scales. I might have been able to get away with it because it belongs to the machine, but I doubt it. I very much doubt it, and it's just not a risk I'm willing to take with my license and with my career, basically. So it's kind of simple, and maybe I'm making a bigger deal about it than what it is, but it is a big deal. Like this particular case, maybe not so much of a big deal, but it could be a really big deal for people. So that was the thing I wanted to discuss with this. Certainly certainly important to the channel. Certainly part of what I'm trying to do here is explain oversized and specialized hauling. So that is a big part of it. Divisible loads you run into a lot. Customers are always trying to push the envelope a little bit, and you got to be willing to stand your ground. The law is the law. So if you know it's wrong, don't be afraid to say, no, I can't do that. It's unfortunate. I wish, like I said, I wish I could have helped the guy out, but the law is the law. So that was the one thing I wanted to discuss with this that I think was pretty important. So that being said, I'm gonna sign off for tonight. I'll do a little filming. If I don't end up posting this video tonight, I'll do some filming at my delivery and throw it into the video too, and we'll see. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Well, I'm back again. I knew there was something else. The whole time I was talking about divisible, non-divisible loads, I was thinking, man, there's something else. There's something else. There's something else. Yeah, there is. Sometimes if I had a brain, I'd be dangerous. So, the other thing that I want to talk about was the air pressure gauge. So I wanted to show you I have a scale ticket, and I'm going to post that scale ticket on the screen here so you can see it while we're talking about this. But the air pressure gauge in the truck coincides with what type. My particular one, I have one for the truck. I don't have one for the trailer inside the truck. My trailer pressure gauge is on the trailer, but the one inside the truck is for my drive axles, and this is what it looks like. That's a suspension load gauge right there, and I'm going to try to move this over, get a shot of it on the side so I can put my scale ticket right next to it. And that gauge on I guess it would be on the right hand side of your screen, that's the suspension load gauge, and it's sitting at what does that look like, about 70 pounds of pressure. So I will here in a minute, I'm going to put that scale ticket up right next to it, and then you can see what my drive tires are versus what the pressure gauge is. Now, every truck is not the same. So this does not apply, like, you can't apply this to your truck. It's going to be close. It'll be very similar, but it's not an exact science on every single truck. There's so many factors that are involved on that pressure, like what you have on the deck of your trailer, or what your suspension setup is, what your shocks are, where your fifth wheel's set, what truck you have, what kind of frame you have, what tires you have. All of these things affect your suspension. So no two trucks are exactly the same. You can't say that, okay, well, I have these airbags, so this is what the pressure is. That's just not true. So what you have to do is get your loads, see which pressure gauge is, and then take that load to a scale, put it on a scale, and see what your drive axles are. And then make a note. Like, I have a little book that I use. I keep notes of, what my pressures are. So I don't write down every single pressure, but 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Then I know where my weights are. So that was the other thing I wanted to show you. I will get that scale ticket up right next to it here in a second, and we will talk to you soon.